Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing you my updated Chrono Jet Deck Profile. Um, so this past week I've gone to a case tourney, I took a list, then I went to two locals and Vanguard Day, and each day I took a different list. Then after these four events, I think I've settled on a list I'm okay with for the case tourney. I was running a non-festival version. Well, I guess I had the OT. It was the same one from my previous video, my first video, except I had changed the Zargons for Jewel Cores. And then the last few locals this weekend, I've been experimenting more with the festival cards. And then I finally settled on a hybrid version, which was pretty much close to the Japanese topping list, but also mine, hence the hybrid. And so we have a little hybrid version I'm very happy with the card choices, and I'll probably do more extensive testing to see if there's anything else might change. Set 3 is coming around the corner, so I think this is the definitive list to stick with Jet until Set 3 comes out. So let's get right into it. We have the ride line, which yeah, always is the same thing, especially after the ban list in this coming Friday on the 9th. So ride line stays the same. It's the best ride line for a stride deck, I feel. And then let's get right into the grade zeros. First, we'll have the 8 crit. This is standard. I don't think you change this ever. 8 crit. Crit wins games. 3 fronts. I know there was there was this trend going on in Japan where people were running either one draw or two draws or cutting a crit to do two draws, two fronts. I don't agree with that. I don't think the draws are necessary, and you want to just run cards with shield value, especially early. Shield value helps stabilize the early game. So 8 crits, 3 fronts. We have the 4 heals. That's I run the standard heals because I like having 15k shields early. And then one of the new changes to the list is the OT. I believe in the prior list I was running the yellow OT, and then for one of the events, this past week I changed it to the blue OT, and then I finally decided to go with purple OT. I still think yellow OT is live turns 1 through forever. Blue OT feels really bad if you check it turn 1 or 2 and you have nothing in drop worthwhile, and it's just serves as an extra crit basically most of the time. It's good later, and then purple OT can be dead early if you're blocking efficiently and have 0 damage. It's just an extra attack early. Um, but late game, if you can practice offensively and heal regardless of the damage you have or your opponent has, that comes up huge. The other downside to this, it messes with your attack pattern because a standard attack pattern would be rear, van, rear, rear on a Fate Rider turn. So if you check this, you basically don't get an extra attack. So you would have to prepare for those kind of scenarios. Maybe give up an attack if you feel like you're going to check this, or just have a big booster for your fourth attack. That also works as well. So that's that OT. Moving on to the grade ones, we have the 4 PGs. I think that's standard. Don't really change anything there. The constant bread and butter of the deck for me. Ling, I love soul charging, or not random soul charging, I guess would be the best way to put it. I love having a card I can just put down if I'm going second, put it down, and then I could swing. She does her job. She pushes the aggro. Best card. And then new addition is this guy, the one that if he's in drop energy blast 3, you remove it, and then you can add back to hand whatever you pitch during your turn, so your stride fodder or the fodder for your next stage. And then he is also good going second if you need to put him down and attack turn 1. He will random soul charge. That is the only downside to this, I feel, and he doesn't feel good going first. You'll probably just pitch him going first, and then in that scenario, he will reward you later, but you don't draw immediately like you would with a cycler, so that's the trade-off there. And then I'm running 3 GGs. This is just a space issue I would want to run 4. So far 3 has been fine. I get a seer turn 1, and then I usually call Wiley her, or I call her at least once later on in the game. So as long as you're able to proc her twice per game, I feel like she's done her job. So Three for now. If I ever feel like she's lacking or I don't see her enough or I would want the fourth, I'll just cut something down and fit in the fourth. And then the last one, this cat that saves lives. He's really good shield value. I love just being able to one card guard with him early and then saying OT to pass or two to pass, whatever it may be. And then I love having him in deck for when I'm damage denied and I have an upstream in hand. I just call upstream and then I call him out and then I counter charge and I'm able to do my turn. So very versatile card. I feel like one of is mandatory. Then moving on to the grade twos, we have new additions to the deck. So I'm running the Dual Nation guy. He ran up soul charges. He's on play, soul charge one. He gets 5k. Then you have the option to counterblast and retire an opponent's rearguard, or you can call out something from soul. He is the reason I'm mainly okay with running random soul charging cards. Obviously, he ran up soul charges, and then the other grade one, this one also random soul charges. So I have 8 random soul chargers, but the way I justified it is if my OT ever goes into soul, I will proc his skill to call it out and then bounce it back with Fate Rider or the goat. So OT, the theory or the thesis for my Chrono Jet is that you always want your OT to have the potential to be live. So he helps make sure that that is still a possibility even with the random soul charging in the deck. And he's good going first or second. I wanted some cards that are good going first, and he helps a lot with that. So that was the main reason for him is having a card that helps with the turn or going first at least. We have the 3 energy cyclers. Couldn't find room for the fourth, at least in this variant, this version of the deck. But I see her a lot, so and I don't want to see her if I'm going first on turn 1 because you can't proc her. So 3 has been a fine number. And then I run the 2 Lamina. She's the one you want to see if you go first because she actually can proc. You just Soul Blast 1, put her to bottom, and draw a card. So I want to keep 2 of her just so I can have discard options. I have 6 discard options going first that don't feel bad essentially. And yeah, I don't want to see her too often. But I feel like 2 is a good number of seeing her. So 5 cyclers. And we have 2 goats. I I was running him at 4, but I was seeing him way too much. And then at 3, I was still seeing him so often. And now that I have other cards, 7 other cards that want energy, felt like cutting him down to 2 so that I'm not fighting for energy is the most efficient way. You could cut 1 for another Tiskar, another one of the energy cycler. Um, that is an option. I personally can see either way, but then you only have one of, and you damage it, it's gone. And he's a really nice attacker. And one of my, like I said earlier with the Dual Nation guy, I wanted cards that help me when I'm going first, and he's one of the better cards going first. And then the last card is 2 upstreams. So these are like your main attackers on stride turns. 2 of, I know a lot of people run 3 of him. I don't want to see him early, especially because he does nothing. These are 10k bodies going first and prior to stride. That's why I like him. But I don't want it to be a one of because I've damaged it and then I don't have an upstream for the game, and that also feels bad. So the ratios are 2-2 right there. I know a lot of people would cut the goat and they would fit a third one, and then a lot of people run the random Falcratia tech or they just increase their Tiskar count. Um, Tiskar, I like I said earlier, I wanted some going first options. Upping the upstream would do nothing. It would hinder that. And then Falcratia is also a win more second card. It's not good going first. So I felt like instead of having any of those options, just having the goat to alleviate some of the going first problems would help a lot. So those were the grade twos. And then lastly, the grade threes. 2 Jet, that stayed the same. And then I was able to cut down on one of these Nocturcios because of the new grade 1 that lets you get back your stride cost cards. So that helped build up some room for other cards, and it helps you not see as many grade threes early, which is really nice because I was having this issue where sometimes I'd have games where I open up too many grade threes, especially in a stride matchup where you open all your grade threes, and now it's very hard to grade 2 game and you feel forced to write up. So 4 feels like a perfect number for units, and then the one regardless piece. I really like this. Just draw 2 or another countercharge option because a lot of players like to damage deny or swing at your rear guards so that you can't use your strides. But now you have 2 options of countercharging, which is really nice. So yeah, the deck feels a lot better. I mean, it always felt good going second, and then I feel like most changes don't. They help a little bit going second, but you were always winning going second in most matchups, and then it's just RNG from there. So the going second options, you didn't need to increase the output there, but going first, I felt you needed a little help there. So a lot of the changes were just to help going first, and then a lot of cards that go first that are good going first are also good going second, so they become win more cards going second. So yeah, that has been the list. I've been pretty happy with it. I went X1 on Vanguard Day yesterday for the case tourney with the Jewel Core variant, which I felt was very uh, reminiscent of the first list I was playing. The Jewel Core variant went X2 in 6 rounds. I bubbled ninth, so I didn't get top 8 at the case tourney. But yeah, I think just helping going first, building your list around having cards that are good going first and second makes a big difference. Just assume you're gonna have your core, you're gonna win going second most of the time, unless like RNG happens. And then all those other cards you want to fit in are cards that alleviate your going first and make it to where it's also you just lose to RNG going first as well. Then you just have the solid deck. And yeah, that's just been the Chrono Jet deck profile. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.